Akira wakes up after 1,000 years. He suddenly falls hard to the ground and gets startled. When he stands up, he notices all his injuries are gone and realizes he has no clothes on. He looks around, confused about where he is, and walks toward a ray of light. When he steps out, he is shocked to see a ruined city. Somewhere else, a cloaked woman whispers his name. Meanwhile, Akira looks around in confusion, thinking he might be dreaming. But a pebble hits his head and proves he is awake. He looks back and assumes he fell into this place. His memory seems lost. Soon, a man and a girl arrive, speaking an unknown language. They kneel before him, calling him the Wise One. The man explains that an earthquake caused the ruins to collapse and they came to check if he is safe. The man's daughter teases Akira and her father quickly stops her, apologizing for her manners. Akira tries to assure them he is fine and stands up but collapses weakly to the ground. Later, a bull pulls a cart driven by the man, with his daughter and Akira resting in it. After some time, Akira wakes up. The girl tells her father, who asks if Akira feels better. Akira thanks them for helping him and says they must have mistaken him for someone else. He introduces himself as Akira Himegami. The man, still respectful, introduces himself as Wiya, the chief of a nearby village, and his daughter, Edie. Akira asks about the Wise One. Wiya explains that the Wise One is a god their village worships, enshrined in the ruins as the divine being who grants knowledge. He says Akira has been asleep there long before he was born, and their village was tasked by OWEL to protect the ruins. Wiya expresses his amazement that Akira has finally awakened. Akira is stunned to hear he has been asleep for so long. Looking at the ruins, he wonders if a war once took place there. He suddenly experiences a flash of memory and tries to recall Tawasa, but pain strikes his head. Concerned, Edie calls out to him. Wiya tells him they are almost at the village called Hakodate. At the mention of Hakodate, Akira realizes something. He looks back at the ruins, then at a nearby tower he recognizes as Goryokaku Tower. Memories of a family trip during middle school return to him. Seeing how destroyed everything is, he feels a strong ache in his head. Edie urges him to rest, and Akira agrees, lying down while trying to convince himself this must be a dream. At Wiya's home, his wife is surprised to see the Wise One sleeping peacefully. She approaches, amazed to see him in person. Wiya tells her to give Akira some space. Akira soon wakes up, and Wiya asks how he feels. Akira asks where he is, and Wiya explains this is his home. Wiya's wife gently tells Akira to take it easy. Akira insists he is fine. She smiles and assures him that even though their home is simple, they will do their best to make him comfortable. During dinner, Wiya listens with fascination as Akira talks about the old world's technology. Wiya is shocked at how advanced it used to be compared to now. Even his wife finds it hard to believe, but Akira's presence proves it is true. Akira asks how long he has been asleep, but Wiya cannot answer. He explains they are just peasants and have no access to historical records. One of the men at the table warns Wiya that keeping Akira's presence secret could be seen as handling a relic. Akira asks who they would report to, and the man replies, OWEL, the unified institution that governs the world. Akira then asks about countries, which confuses Wiya. Wiya explains that in ancient times the world was divided into countries, but OWEL dissolved them and replaced regional governments. Akira realizes that nations no longer exist, and that OWEL now holds greater power than any former country. Wiya adds that OWEL brought lasting peace and ended all wars. Akira is amazed by this. Edie curiously asks Akira's age. He replies that he is 18, but admits that, given how long he slept, he no longer knows his true age. Wiya's brother then insists they report Akira to the OWEL Bureau. Wiya tells him to calm down, saying Akira just woke up. His brother snaps back, accusing Wiya of keeping Akira for his own curiosity about the past. The other men agree, warning that the village could be in danger and reminding everyone what happens to those who hide relics. Wiya's wife suddenly stands up with firm resolve. She scolds them for acting like cowards, saying Akira is new to everything and needs time to adjust. She insists OWEL doesn't need to know yet. Edie proudly imitates her mother's brave stance. Their moment is interrupted by the baby's cries, and Wiya's wife goes to tend to the child. She tells Akira not to worry and focus on recovering. Akira feels grateful for her kindness. Later that night, while Edie sleeps, Akira lies awake. He steps out to the rooftop balcony, looking at the quiet night sky and the small settlement below. The warm air tells him it is summer. Everything feels unreal, as if he is still dreaming. Yet his mind keeps drifting back to Tawasa. Far away, a cloaked woman watches the settlement from the shadows. Meanwhile, a man rides a horse away from the village under the moonlight. The next morning, after washing his face, Akira steels himself to find clues about Tawasa. Edie greets him cheerfully and he asks her for a favor. She takes him to the village market, explaining that it is where people shop. Akira observes the stalls and notes the textile store, realizing the village resembles an 18th century countryside. He notices a stall exchanging currency with a balance scale, meaning someone guarantees the coin's value. He wonders if this system was created by OWEL, and realizes there is so much he must learn. He asks Edie if there is a library nearby. She doesn't understand the word, so he explains, "It is a place full of books." She brightens and says the school has many. At that moment, the cloaked person is seen nearby, buying a good luck charm while watching them. Edie takes Akira to the school. He searches through the books but finds no information about Tawasa or the past. He starts to suspect OWEL might be censoring information. He asks Edie how they can contact OWEL, but she reacts angrily. She says she hates them, calling them arrogant and violent. Akira listens quietly, realizing that OWEL might not be as peaceful as it seems. As they walk further through the village, Akira and Edie approach a house filled with cheerful voices. People are clapping and congratulating someone. Akira wonders if they are celebrating a festival, but Edie's eyes light up as she says she can't wait to find her own sea ailers. Akira notices that most of the people there are women, and it looks like a wedding ceremony. Curious, he asks Edie what's going on. She explains this event is called Ilsea, a ceremony where people who love each other make an oath and become sea eilers. She adds that it doesn't matter whether they are men or women. Seeing Akira's confusion, Edie decides to explain further. She says that in an Ilsea there can be many types of groups, a man and a woman, 2 men, 2 women, or even 3 people together. She points to a nearby group and says their Ilsea has 4 members. Akira realizes this is different from marriage. When Edie asks if marriage is another kind of Ilsea, Akira explains that marriage is usually between 2 people who promise to spend their lives together. Edie laughs, saying that in Ilsea a person can have more than one partner. Jokingly, Akira asks if it could go up to 100, and Edie bursts out laughing. She says her father once told her that if anyone tried that, OWEL would show up and scold them. Akira finally understands that an Ilsea is a group of people who decide to live their lives together. Edie proudly shares that in her home. Her father, her mother, and Papa Vogt are an Ilsea of 3. As she excitedly pulls Akira along to see more, he quietly thinks to himself how even the idea of marriage has changed in this world. Back in the year 2038, Akira is seen talking to a woman lying on a sofa. They discuss something called the LC Project. She asks what he thinks about it, and Akira says it's an interesting concept about upgrading humans, but wonders how she plans to fund it. As he gently removes her glasses, she replies she will figure it out somehow. A robotic voice then announces that the LC Project will play a key role in the foundation of Tawasa's android development. Tawasa explains that competition between rival companies and the fear humans hold toward the future, what she calls the collective consciousness, are both part of the challenge but also an opportunity. Akira smiles and gives her a small box. Inside is a beautiful ring. He calls her Big Sis Tawa, saying it's a birthday gift. Tawasa blushes and admires the ring, touched by his thoughtfulness, but still tells him to stop calling her that. Back in the present, Akira is still at the market with Edie when Tabarina, Wia's wife, arrives and asks for help. She explains that a tractor had fallen and broken during the previous day's earthquake. Akira examines it and manages to repair it, surprising everyone. The people are impressed by his skill, and he mentions he used to enjoy fixing machines as a child. Soon after, a tall man in a general's uniform appears with soldiers and Papa Vogt. The man observes the repaired tractor and praises the work. Papa Vogt points at Akira, introducing him to the man. Tabarina immediately realizes what is happening and angrily accuses Papa Vogt of betrayal, but he looks away, saying he had no choice. The man approaches Akira and remarks that the title Wise One suits him. When Akira looks at him, the man introduces himself as Percussus Canis, the OWEL Commissioner General of District H, 427 North, demanding to be addressed as Almighty Commissioner Canis. The soldiers detain Akira and lead him toward a mobile holding cell. Confused, Akira asks why he is being arrested. Canis states that Akira is an archaeological artifact found in ancient ruins and therefore not entitled to human rights. Akira is stunned, but before he can speak, Canis grabs him by the hair and says that Owell's control over information is absolute. Wia tries to step in, but Canis orders him to stand down. When Wia hesitates, Canis accuses him of treason for not reporting a relic and shoots him in the leg before he can explain. Tabarina rushes to Wia's side. Canis then orders that Edie be taken as well, saying he needs her as a witness since she discovered Akira. Tabarina protests fiercely, but Canis points his gun at her, threatening her. Papa Vogt rushes forward, saying he never agreed to the detention of Wia and Edie, but Canis coldly replies that he has just decided it. As Wea bleeds, he tries to explain that he intended to report everything once things settled down. Canis ignores him and presses an electric stun baton into Wea's gunshot wound, causing him to scream in pain. Later, Akira, Wea, and Edie are locked inside a holding cell attached to a moving train. Edie worries about her father, while Akira apologizes, blaming himself. Wea weakly tells him not to. The train eventually stops. Canis orders the soldiers to keep Akira locked up, but bring out Wea and Edie. He announces they will be disposed of and sends 3 of his men back to Hakodate to eliminate all the villagers to erase evidence of the relic's existence. Wea is dropped to the ground with weapons pointed at him, as Canis declares that everyone who knows about Akira must die. From inside the cell, Akira shouts in anger, calling Canis a monster. Canis responds that he plans to use Akira's ancient knowledge to advance his own power. He then points his gun at the terrified Edie, while Akira watches helplessly, his expression filled with hatred. Suddenly, a voice tells Akira to lower himself. A cloaked girl appears, slicing through the holding cell with swift, powerful strikes. She lands a kick that shatters the door and charges at Canis, kicking him hard into a nearby wall. Though injured, Canis stands and demands to know who she is and why she interfered. The woman comments that he is quite resilient. Akira thanks her for saving them and asks who she is. She remarks that Akira still acts like someone from CE Japan. She tells him she can help them escape if he agrees to listen to her. Canis orders his soldiers to open fire, but the woman remains calm and repeats her offer. Akira agrees, saying he needs her help. She acknowledges his request and tells them to find somewhere safe to hide, as Canis yells again for his troops to shoot. The soldiers fire at the girl, but a circular barrier protects her along with Wea and Edie. The bullets bounce back, striking the soldiers down. The lady draws her saber and swiftly cuts through the remaining enemies with cold precision. Akira and the others are shocked by her power, while Canis panics and tries to run away. The lady mocks Canis' organization, calling it worthless. Realizing she must be from an outside series, Canis kicks one of his men toward her and escapes into a building. An injured soldier tries to shoot her, but Akira quickly throws a stick that knocks the weapon away. Inside the building, Canis starts laughing madly as he fires a machine gun at the woman. She jumps back to avoid the bullets, then activates a lightning domain. Her legs transform into a tripod and her right arm shifts into an energy bazooka. She fires, completely erasing Canis and everything in her path in a massive explosion that shakes the area. Akira and the others hide for cover from the shockwave. Akira, stunned, mutters that she can't be human. The woman retracts her weapon and calmly replies that she is an android, introducing herself as Yugure. She reminds Akira of the favor she mentioned earlier, then removes her hood, revealing a face identical to Tawasa's. Akira is speechless, and Yugure simply says that she wants them to get married. Akira feels confused when the girl says she is Yugure and not Tawasa. He becomes awkward and tries to calm himself. Yugure plays a recording of Akira agreeing to her favor, revealing her request is to marry him. This shocks Akira, making him flustered and step back as she moves closer. Yugure takes out the ring Akira once gave Tawasa as a birthday gift, which he immediately recognizes. When he asks about Tawasa, Yugure only smirks and says it's classified, a gesture that reminds him of Tawasa's exact expression. Edie arrives to check on Akira, and Yugure turns her attention to healing Wea's wound, saying helping the injured is more important. Papa Vogt kneels and begs Akira and the others for forgiveness. Akira assures him he understands. Papa Vogt only wanted to protect the villagers and did what he thought was right. Akira says he is not angry. Tabarina asks what Akira plans to do next, and he decides to leave the village to avoid causing more trouble since Oel is after him. Yugure insists on going with him, saying he still owes her an answer about marriage. Akira refuses, saying no one would marry someone they just met. Yugure replies that since he needs to know her better first, she will stay by his side. At dawn, they walk together. Yugure asks where they are heading, and Akira says he wants to return to where he first woke up to look for clues. He asks her to tell him more about the present world since she is an android, but she says that's classified. When he asks her to talk about herself and why she wants to marry him, she replies such information is premium content and can only be paid for with marriage. When they reach the location, the place is too dark for Akira to see clearly, even with his lamp. Yugure mentions the earthquake a few days ago, likely damaged the power supply. Suddenly, she moves fast and hides them behind a huge machine, activating camouflage and warning him to stay quiet because there are others nearby. A woman appears, leaps high into the air, and uses her sword to create a cross-shaped slash that blasts open the ruins. Another woman, floating with a ring of light above her head, scans the area for Yugure and Akira. From their hiding spot, Akira realizes both women have the same face as Yugure and Tawasa. The sword-wielding woman attacks a hidden spot, revealing Edie hiding there. Akira is shocked to see her, but Yugure urges him to stay silent. The two women injure Edie. The one with the ring of light named Hakubo tells the other, Yoyami, not to be harsh. Yoyami snaps back saying Edie's presence is suspicious. She demands to know if Edie knows who killed Canis. Edie nods but says she cannot reveal it because the killers saved her. Yoyami asks where they are, but Edie says she doesn't know. After getting no answers, Hakubo and Yoyami leave, disappointed. Akira rushes to Edie and asks why she is there. She shows him a smartwatch that belongs to him, saying she found it in the ruins and forgot to return it. Akira turns on the watch hoping to find something useful, and discovers a farewell voice message from Tawasa. In the recording, Tawasa admits to making many mistakes and says she must live with her sins and what she has done. She expresses her love and gratitude to Akira and asks him not to search for her, urging him to cherish the life he still has. When the message ends, Yugure notes it was recorded 200 years ago. Although Akira knows much time has passed and Tawasa may no longer be alive, he decides to look for her anyway. Yugure asks if he has any clue where to start, and Akira says he will head to the Omagi house in Tokyo where he once lived. He asks if Yugure will come with him, and she agrees but teases him about still refusing to marry her. She jokes that there are many wedding venues in Tokyo. Later, while Edie is asleep, Akira asks Yugure about the two women they saw earlier. Yugure explains they are commanding officers in Owl's special forces, and that they are after her, because OL has imposed digital restrictions. Akira asks if they are also androids and why she wants to marry him. Yugure moves closer and says it's simply because she wants to. Akira becomes flustered and says he already has a fiancé named Tawasa, but Yugure insists she won't give up. Since he is only engaged, she believes there is still a chance. Akira bluntly denies it, saying there's none at all. She pushes him down, teasing him and claiming she'll make him forget Tawasa, stopping only when he calls her by name. After they see Edie off, Akira says they will head to Honshu. At the port, a man informs them the boats are all out at sea and the ferry only runs once a week. Akira realizes this delays their plans. Soon they meet a man driving a tractor who offers them a ride on a small ship. He introduces himself as Oboro, a wholesaler, and they introduce themselves as well. When he asks why they are heading to Honshu, Akira says they are on an expedition to Tokyo, while Yugure playfully says they are on their honeymoon. Oboro suggests taking the train from Sendai, but Akira says it's far. Oboro then advises them to go toward Mount Osore and cross Mutsu Bridge to reach Aomori. Oboro drops them at the port and departs. As they walk, Akira comments that the area doesn't feel very Japanese. He then bumps into a girl who appears from around a corner, accidentally breaking her brush. He offers to buy her a new one. The girl introduces herself as Amoru. When Yugure tries to ask about a book Amoru is holding, Amoru quickly grabs it back, saying it's special to her. At a small store, Akira buys a new brush and some bread using the travel money Wia gave him. The storekeeper accidentally gives him too much change, and the store's boss arrives, scolding the man harshly and calling him a Lagosian. Akira wants to say something, but Yugure steps in, saying they will just leave the change behind and go, calling Amoru to come along. Later, Akira asks what a Lagosian is. Yugure explains that Lagosians are people who voluntarily give up their human rights to be forgiven for a crime or debt. Under Owl's control, they are forced to work various labor jobs but are provided basic necessities so they don't die. Akira looks troubled, and Yugure calls him soft-hearted, warning that helping might bring OWEL's attention. Akira gives Amoru the new brush, which she happily accepts. She asks why they came to Oma, and Akira says they are on their first expedition to Tokyo through Mount Osore. Amoru warns them that OWEL has a checkpoint on the main road. Surprised, Akira listens as she offers to guide them through another route with no checkpoint. They agree to follow her lead. As they walk along the path, Amoru sketches a portrait of Yugure while they travel. Akira notices and comments on it, and Amoru says it becomes easy with practice. Akira asks if she wants to become an artist, and Amoru replies she wants to draw storybooks. Akira happily encourages her and says he hopes to read one of her books someday. Amoru seems surprised and quickens her pace ahead. Yugure quietly notices a strange stamp on Amoru's back. That night, the group sets up camp around a bonfire. Akira mentions how they didn't go hungry thanks to Yugure, who easily caught a rabbit for dinner. Curious, Akira asks if she gets energy from food. Yugure explains she draws energy from the core in her chest and that eating is just a hobby. When Akira tries to touch the core out of curiosity, Yugure warns him about the consequences, making him back away quickly. Yugure then asks Amoru if she can see the book she carried earlier. Amoru becomes defensive, clutching her bag tightly. Yugure guesses it might be a banned book but promises not to take it. Amoru finally brings it out and explains her parents wrote it. Yugure and Akira admire the bird illustrations, saying they're beautiful. Akira encourages Amoru to follow her parents' path and her dreams, which makes her smile. The next day, they arrive at Mount Osore, where OWEL officers guard the entrance. Yugure assures Akira they haven't recognized her yet and tells them to act naturally. They pass through without issue. As they walk, Yugure mentions her experiences over the past 150 years, leading Akira to ask her age. Instead of answering, she jokingly tells Amoru it's rude to ask a lady her age, but then stops halfway. She changes the topic, explaining Mount Osore is known for its flavorful food. Akira and Amoru watch as Yugure finishes a skewer of meat in one bite. Akira feels frustrated by how poorly the Lagosians around them are treated, but Yugure warns him not to get involved. When Akira looks back at his own plate, it's empty. Yugure has eaten his portion too. As Akira goes to buy more food, two soldiers confront him at gunpoint, demanding that Yugure surrender or the relic will be destroyed. Yugure and Amoru raise their hands in compliance. A tall man with long red hair appears, calling himself the Magnificent Marlem. Akira feels an odd sense of déjà vu. Marlem proudly says he received a message from his cousin Kanis about the ancient relic, and that Yugure's resemblance to Yoyami and Hakubo confirmed everything. Suddenly, Amoru runs up to Marlem, and he pats her head, calling her, No, 1221. Akira and Yugure realize too late that Amoru was working for him all along. Amoru admits she lied to them in exchange for the promise that OWEL would return her parents' books. Amoru demands the storybook as her reward, but Marlem gives a cold, cruel smile and tells her all the books have already been burned. He pushes her aside without mercy and orders the soldiers to handle her the same way they did to her parents. Then he commands them to capture Yugure. While Marlem begins celebrating the promotion he believes he has earned, Akira quietly turns to Yugure and asks if she can save them. She replies in a calm, emotionless tone that she can only ensure his safety. Suddenly, Amoru refuses to give up. She lashes out, striking one of the soldiers and even managing to land a hit on Marlem himself. Her courage catches everyone off guard. She shouts for Yugure and Akira to run away before the soldiers can recover. Taking the chance, Yugure moves swiftly, taking down the soldiers one by one with precise efficiency. She grabs Akira's hand and pulls him away as they escape through the chaos. Behind them, Marlem regains his composure, furious at being defied. He kicks Amoru violently to the ground and notices something that fell from her bag, the only storybook she had left. He picks it up with a smirk, realizing what it is. Far from the scene, Yugure and Akira take refuge in a quiet, hidden area. The night is tense and their breaths are heavy from running. Akira looks back toward where they came from, his heart uneasy. He says he wants to return and rescue Amoru, but Yugure blocks his path. She reminds him that Amoru lied to them and used them for her own gain. Akira, however, refuses to accept that explanation. He insists Amoru was being manipulated and never truly meant harm. He admits that if he goes back alone, he will be caught, and asks Yugure to come with him. Yugure shakes her head, saying it goes against her operating principles, rules she must always follow. Akira looks straight at her and says Amoru means more to him than those rules. When Yugure questions why he would care so deeply for someone who betrayed him, he says it isn't about love or duty. He just feels sorry for her and wants to help her chase the dream she once spoke about. Meanwhile, back at the camp, Amoru is restrained by Marlem's soldiers. Marlem stands before her holding her beloved storybook. He taunts her as he sets it on fire, watching the flames consume it. Amoru screams in despair as the fire burns away her last hope. The rain begins to fall, washing over the scene, blurring her tears with the cold drops from the sky. Yugure turns to Akira and asks if he would agree to marry her if she saves Amoru's life. Her words sound more like a logical transaction than an emotional plea. Akira looks at her with a tired expression and says she truly behaves like an android, someone who cannot understand human feelings. Without another word, Yugure releases her hold on him. Akira immediately runs off toward the danger, determined to save Amoru no matter the risk. Yugure remains behind, standing motionless in the rain. Amoru is chained down in a room alone, scared, calling out for her mother and father. Akira struggles to enter the room, and when he finally gets inside, he is shocked to see Amoru chained there. Amoru is also surprised Akira came. She doesn't want him to risk his life for her, and while they try to escape, she admits she lied to him and Yugure. Despite this, Akira shows he doesn't care about the lie, which shocks her. As they talk, two guards spot them and raise the alarm. Akira and Amoru start running. Akira does everything to get her out safely, even throwing his knife at one guard to buy time. All the while, Yugure watches them from afar without their knowledge. When they reach outside, the man is already waiting. He laughs hysterically, calling them fools as if he predicted their escape attempt. Before Akira realizes it, guards capture Amoru from behind. As Akira tries to save her, he is struck down, but still manages to fight back against one guard before being handcuffed. Instead of going to help Amoru, Akira attacks the man. Offended that a commoner dares strike him, the man orders his guards to capture Akira again. While they hold him down, the man beats Akira. Amoru cannot bear watching Akira being tortured because of her and begs them to release him, offering herself in his place. Akira cuts Amoru short and tells her to keep quiet. He reminds her never to give up on finding her parents' storybook, knowing it is her dream. Amoru is shocked because she never expects Akira to say something like that. Akira understands her goal is to become an artist who draws storybooks, and he wants to help her make that dream come true. The man becomes angry and orders one of his guards to point a gun at Amoru, ready to shoot. Akira cannot do anything except shout for them not to harm her. At this moment, Yugure can no longer bear watching Akira and Amoru being mistreated. She rushes to the scene to teach the men a lesson. When she arrives, she kicks away the guards holding Akira and Amoru, leaving only the man standing. Instead of escaping, the man commands his guards to attack Yugure. Before they could even reach her, she strikes them all down. The guards cannot withstand her power and run away in fear. Shocked by their retreat, the man pulls out his gun and fires at them, but Yugure blocks the bullets to protect Akira and Amoru. The man never expects this. Before he can flee, Yugure kicks him so hard that he falls into a pit and becomes stuck, crying for help. Throughout the fight, Amoru is amazed by Yugure's android abilities. After the battle ends, Akira bows before Yugure and thanks her for saving them, even though it goes against her rules. Yugure explains that saving Amoru aligns with her objective, so she had to act. Akira remains deeply grateful. The next day, Yugure gives Amoru some items she obtained from the administration bureau, clothes and books for drawing. Akira excuses Amoru so she can change her outfit. While helping her, Yugure removes the scars on Amoru's back. Amoru is thankful and asks Yugure to erase the scan code on her lower body. Yugure warns it will hurt, but Amoru insists and Yugure proceeds, covering the spot with a design. Akira is amazed by Yugure's skills and asks about the type of ability she uses, which Yugure explains to him. Amoru, filled with excitement, cannot even finish dressing before expressing her eagerness to start drawing storybooks with them. To her surprise, Yugure agrees to have her join them, and Akira supports the idea, promising to go wherever she wishes. He tells her to finish dressing so they can set off. They soon begin their journey to Amoru's hometown. When they arrive, they hear someone announcing a single room available for rent. Akira hopes to rent it so he can finally take a bath after so long. But before they can act, Amoru notices guards standing near a building corner. Looking around, she realizes it is the Fika season, a time for matchmaking festivals. She tries to explain they don't need the festival since they are already partners. But at the mention of this, Yugure becomes jealous and quickly makes it clear to Amoru that she is Akira's partner, claiming they are lovers. However, Amoru refuses to accept that. Seeing it might lead to an argument, Akira tries to remind them he is actually on this journey, searching for a woman named Tawasa, whom he loves deeply, and to whom he has already pledged his life. Despite this, Amoru feels they can all still be together, even after finding the woman. At this point, Yugure decides to try something different. She knows she is in love with Akira, but she wants to attend the festival to see if she can be matched with another person. If she doesn't fall in love with anyone else, then she will know her love for Akira is genuine. Although Akira doesn't want to support going to the festival, before he realizes it, Amoru already agrees with the plan, leaving him with no say in the matter. At night, Calcrom, the aspiring boss of the Lontano family, is seen talking with Lieutenant Colonel Yamabuki, who comes to deliver cash to him. Calcrom shows him some weapons they have in stock. As Yamabuki examines the weapons, he begins to wonder if Calcrom is really stockpiling them for defense, or preparing to start a war. They are still in the middle of their discussion when several men suddenly burst in. The guards try to stop them, recognizing them as Fida's men, but the intruders quickly explain that Lady Fida's is approaching. The guards calm down immediately, and Lieutenant Yamabuki is left shocked by the unexpected arrival. After Lady Fides enters, she apologizes for the intrusion her men caused, and introduces herself as the Lontano family's eldest daughter. She explains she rushed there because she heard their guests were in danger. When the lieutenant hears this, he becomes shocked and nervous, not understanding what is happening. Fides explains that one of Calcrom's underlings is a spy, and she says it is her responsibility to handle him since she is going to be the next boss of the Lontano family. The man is then identified and handcuffed. As the accused man hears what Fides says, he becomes furious and talks back, declaring they only recognize Calcrom as their next boss, not her. Angry that Fides is speaking against Kalkrom, he struggles to break free from the guards and tries to attack her. But before he can reach her, Kalkrom unexpectedly shoots him to stop any further chaos. Seeing what happens, Fides decides to take her leave and instructs the head of her guards to handle the rest of the situation. Some guests then start asking each other about the relationship between Fides and Kalkrom. One of them explains they are actually half-siblings. Their father had about 10 children, but 8 died in a blood feud, leaving only Fides and Kalkrom alive. The acting boss originally planned to have many heirs, but with only 2 surviving children, everyone is now anxious since no one knows who will become the next boss. The next morning, the acting boss of the Lontano family calls Fides and Kalkrom and tells them he doesn't care who wins. He only wants someone reliable. Because of this, he expects both of them to participate in the Fika festival and find their respective partners to prove their seriousness. Fides immediately promises her father she will find a partner at the festival, but Kalkrom feels she is overdoing it. Meanwhile, Amoru and Yugure prepare for the festival that evening. However, Akira tells them he is not interested in going, so Amoru and Yugure leave for the festival without him. While Akira steps outside to clear his mind, he overhears a group of men talking excitedly about 2 people named Fides and Kalkrom coming to the festival. He becomes curious about who they are. A woman in a nearby shop notices his interest and explains that Fides and Kalkrom are the heirs to the Lontano family's throne, the most powerful family in their town. They are said to control the entire region. Akira feels surprised and slightly uneasy after hearing this, realizing how important these 2 people are. Not long after, Amoru and Yugure arrive at the festival. Amoru quickly joins a group of her old friends from the town, greeting them warmly and explaining why she came to the festival, even though she was the one who suggested the idea. Yugure, on the other hand, blends easily with the crowd, chatting freely with other people and enjoying the lively atmosphere. Meanwhile, after hearing about Fides and Kalkrom, Akira decides to go to the festival too. He dresses up and arrives quietly, hiding behind a flower tree so no one notices him. His main concern is to make sure both Amoru and Yugure are safe, even if it means staying out of sight. At the festival, Fides becomes the center of attention. Many men line up in front of her, hoping she will choose one of them as her partner. However, none of them meet her expectations. She finds them unworthy of her standards and feels frustrated. Angry and disappointed, she walks away, wishing she could meet someone of higher value who would truly match her level. As evening falls and the lights of the festival begin to glow, Amoru notices Akira hiding nearby. She feels relieved and happy to see him, thinking he might have come because he was worried about her. Akira admits her safety is part of the reason he came, though not the only one. Later in the night, while Akira walks past Fides, who is holding a glass of wine, he accidentally bumps into her. The glass tilts and some wine spills onto her clothes. Akira quickly apologizes, worried and trying to find something to help her clean the stain. When he looks closer and sees her name tag, he suddenly realizes the woman he bumped into is none other than Fides herself. Shocked, he panics and tries to run away to avoid trouble. Before he can escape, Fides catches his hand and stops him. She seems intrigued by his manner of speech and his calm presence. Instead of getting angry, she insists they talk privately and pulls him aside. While they're speaking, Amoru spots them together and quickly comes over. She nervously apologizes to Fides on Akira's behalf, saying Akira acts that way because he is actually a relic from ancient times. Akira is stunned by her words, as he didn't expect her to reveal something like that. Fides becomes even more curious. The thought of someone from 200 years ago still being alive fascinates her. Akira then explains everything, how it is possible because of a scientific process known as suspended animation, which keeps the body preserved for long periods. He tells her he only woke up recently after an earthquake damaged the device that had kept him asleep. As Fides listens, she notices the honesty in Akira's words and realizes he is not lying. Feeling impressed and intrigued, she asks him to consider matchmaking with her, saying she believes the rumors about people like him might actually be true. Amoru feels uneasy about the suggestion, but Fides continues confidently. She offers Akira a deal, promising to protect him from OWEL, knowing he is being pursued by them. Akira is taken aback, surprised that someone of her status would propose such a thing to him. While they are still talking, Fides points to a man nearby and introduces him as her half-brother Kalkrom, explaining they have long been rivals in the struggle to become the next head of their family. But before Akira can fully process this, something unexpected happens. Kalkrom suddenly kneels down before Yugure, asking her to matchmake with him in front of everyone. Amoru is shocked and cannot believe what she is seeing, wondering how everything has turned into such confusion. Even Fides is caught off guard, not expecting her half-brother to fall in love with someone so suddenly. The following day, Lord Lontano summons Kalkrom to his office for a meeting after hearing reports that his son had secured a partner at the Fika festival. He expresses his eagerness for Kalkrom to complete the Ilsi ceremony so that he might finally receive a grandchild. But Kalkrom insists the timing remains premature for such considerations. Meanwhile, Fides tends to the horses in the castle stables. She confides in her favorite horse about the rumors circulating regarding Kalkrom's partner, as she has no one else with whom to share her thoughts. Her bodyguard enters to inform her of the news spreading throughout the castle, but she reproaches him for interrupting her private moments with the horse. She assures him there is no need for concern regarding the rumors, as she has secured a partner of her own. At the inn, Akira attempts to dissuade Yugure from attending a date with Kalkrom. He expresses his concern about the man's dangerous nature and his reluctance to see her become entangled in mafia affairs. Amoru also voices her surprise at Yugure's acceptance, noting that she had expressed disinterest the previous day. Yugure clarifies that she only accepted the invitation to demonstrate to Akira that she cannot develop feelings for anyone except him. However, she begins to question whether this explanation holds true, as Kalkrom's advances appear to be affecting her. Kalkrom arrives unexpectedly and presents Yugure with a bouquet of flowers. He explains that his eagerness to see her compelled him to arrive early. Yugure examines the flowers and recognizes they symbolize true love. Kalkrom expresses his admiration for her knowledge, noting he expected nothing less from an android. This revelation causes Akira considerable tension, as he fears for Yugure's safety. However, Yugure clarifies that Kalkrom is already aware of her identity and accepts her regardless. Akira remains skeptical and questions Kalkrom about his genuine intentions. Kalkrom teases him about jealousy and inquires whether he harbors romantic feelings for Yugure. Yugure reveals that Akira is her fiancé. Kalkrom responds with such a mischievous smile that Akira cannot help but recognize his familial connection to Fides. As though summoned by this thought, Fides calls out to Akira and announces she has arrived to collect him for their date. Akira expresses confusion and Fides reminds him that he is her Aelsia partner. Amoru and Yugure immediately surround Akira and forbid him from departing alone with Fides. They interrogate him and demand a full account of what transpired between him and Fides the previous evening. Akira explains that he was involved in a minor accident with her and never believed she was serious when she claimed him as her partner. Kalkrom addresses Fides and expresses relief that she has found a partner, as he was growing concerned she would never settle down. He proposes a double date arrangement that would allow them to observe each other's partners and determine who has made the superior match. He leads them to his vehicle and they express astonishment at its exceptional quality. Kalkrom reveals he acquired it from Tokyo, which immediately captures Akira's interest. Akira requests information, but Kalkrom declines to share anything without compensation. However, he encourages Akira not to abandon hope, as he might divulge information when intoxicated. The group enters the vehicle and Kalkrom drives them to the shopping district. Amoru runs off to explore, but Akira cautions her against wandering too far. Kalkrom escorts Yugure to a jewelry stall where she examines the inventory. He offers to purchase the finest jewelry featuring the most beautiful gem, and she accepts his offer. Kalkrom notices Akira observing them with evident jealousy and turns to give him a triumphant look. Fides approaches Akira from behind and questions his priorities, noting he appears distracted. Akira dismisses her concern as she deposits additional shopping items in his arms. She orders him to keep pace as they have numerous other shops to visit. Akira is surprised that this constitutes her conception of a date. He now understands why she has remained single for such an extended period, that she has grown desperate enough to settle for someone like him. Amaru approaches and suggests he should not have come, as he is being treated as a porter. Akira insists he had to attend because Kalkrom possesses information about Tokyo. He also points out that he cannot permit Yugure to accompany Kalkrom alone, as he does not trust him. Furthermore, he feels disappointed that he cannot facilitate a romantic connection between Fides and Kalkrom, as he recognizes that is what they both genuinely desire. Fides calls out to him and he rushes over to meet her. Kalkrom notices that Yugure is distracted by Akira, but he assures her that their date will take her mind off him. She directs him to an alley so they can speak in secret. She scolds him for turning their date into a double date, but Kalkrom explains that he is just going along with her plan to make Akira jealous. However, he never predicted that Fides would propose to him. Yugure points out that Fides is currently her worst enemy and she won't pardon her, even if she is his sister. Kalkrom points out that it won't be necessary because his plan seems to be working. Yugure admits that it is, as she recalls her encounter with him the previous night when she was wasted. She told him everything about her and how she wants to prove to Akira that her love for him was genuine, so he agreed to help her because he could relate to her situation. Yugure points out that he is doing so much to help her, which makes her suspicious because she thinks he has an ulterior motive. Kalkrom reveals that he is only curious about how their relationship will turn out, because a relationship between an android and a human isn't realistic. He just wants to observe their relationship and see if love truly conquers all. Meanwhile, Akira notices Amaru observing a set of color paints, so he decides to get them for her, but Fides scolds him for not getting her anything. Yugure walks out of the alley with Kalkrom and calls out to Akira, but he doesn't hear her. She walks up to him and considers telling him everything, but she decides against it. Akira doesn't understand why she's giving him an attitude, but he waves it off because he has a nice spot to continue their double date. He orders Kalkrom to take them to the library and he obliges. They arrive at the library and begin to explore. Kalkrom admits that Akira is cultured because he chose to read while on a date. Amoru is curious if the library has any of her parents' old drawings. She thanks Akira for the opportunity to check for them, but Akira points out that he did it because he has to do some research. He picks up some law books to check if they contain any useful information, but Fides informs him that those kinds of books are useless because Owelt dictates their content. After exploring the library for a while, they all walk out without gaining any new information about their research. Amoru spots some traders in the alley and she gets a hunch that they may have her parents' storybooks, so she decides to check them out. She runs off, leaving the other at the steps of the library. They try to follow her, but she gets lost in the alley. They begin looking for her, but Fides is pissed that she has to look for a stubborn child. She suddenly realizes that she has gotten lost, and she suddenly becomes nostalgic because it brings back memories of her childhood. Back then, they always used to play hide and seek in the alley, but they always got caught because Kalkrom always made noise while hiding. Fides scolded him, but she promised to keep him safe when she became the boss. Kalkrom calls out to her, and she snaps out of reliving her memories. She tries to hide her nostalgia, but Kalkrom reminds her about the time they used to play hide and seek in the alley as kids. Close by, Akira tries to find everybody else because he is now alone. He peeks around a corner and spots Fides and Kalkrom having a moment, so he decides to stay back. Yugure and Amoru calls out to him from behind, and he shushes them so they don't interrupt the siblings moment. Fides wonders why Kalkrom is suddenly reminiscing about the past, and Kalkrom points out that it is nice to relive memories once in a while. Fides reminds him that they are supposed to be more concerned about their future. Kalkrom decides to be more direct. He picks up a sheet and wraps Fides with it, pointing out that she was very good at hide and seek. Fides feels a spark, but she hides her feelings. She walks away as she claims that she doesn't remember anything like that. Akira observes Fides as she walks past, and he feels bad that their blood relation is preventing them from experiencing true love. He turns to Yugure because he is now certain that Kalkrom truly loves Fides. He scolds her for wearing the necklace Kalkrom got her, but she mocks him for being jealous. Akira points out that he only made that suggestion because of what he just observed between the siblings. Yugure doesn't understand what he is talking about, and Akira can't find the words to explain since she fails to figure out that he isn't jealous. Yugure reminds him that she agreed to go out with Kalkrom as a test to make her understand what true love feels like. She demands to know why he agreed to go on a date with Fides. Amoru joins Yugure and they press Akira for answers. Akira defends himself and maintains that he is only loyal to Tawasa because he is already engaged to her. He wonders where Yugure's loyalties lie, and she reveals that she could settle for Kalkrom if things go according to plan, which shocks both of them. The ride back is tense and silent. Kalkrom and Fides keep staring at each other out of the corner of their eyes, but they suddenly run a flat tire. Everyone gets out and Akira changes the flat tire. Kalkrom is impressed that he can do that by himself, and Akira points out that his foster dad taught him how to do it. Kalkrom reveals that the only thing he was taught while he was growing up was to dedicate his entire life to his family, which is why Elsie is so important to them. Akira wonders if his feelings for Yugure are genuine. Kalkrom admits that he finds her fascinating, but he wonders why Akira is asking. Akira points out that he only asked because they are travel companions. He wonders about Kalkrom's feelings towards Fides, but Kalkrom throws the question back to him. Akira refuses to answer because his feelings are irrelevant. Kalkrom reveals that he will bless the union of whoever Fides chooses as her partner, but he promises to kill anyone who breaks her heart. Akira accuses Kalkrom of being love-struck by Fides, but Kalkrom avoids the accusation and suggests he open a garage because of his tire-changing prowess. Meanwhile, Yugure expresses her frustration at how difficult finding true love is. Fides wonders what she is talking about, and Amoru explains, Yugure has been unfortunate in her quest for true love. Fides points out that true love is nothing but made-up nonsense to make people feel wanted. Their conversation gets interrupted by a container being dislodged and threatening to kill a worker. Yugure rushes to his rescue, but a secret agent spots her and recognizes her as a fugitive. Fides figures out that Yugure is an android from her swift movement. She wonders what game Kalkrom is playing because he can't take her as his partner, since androids can't have children. Kalkrom and Akira come running to the scene to make sure she is alright, but she directs them to the source of the commotion. She walks away and Akira advises Kalkrom to go after her, but he reveals that that's his job now because she chose him as her partner. As Fides runs off, she recalls the rest of her earlier memories. After she promised to become the boss and protect Kalkrom, he pointed out that he overheard her crying to their older sibling for help because she didn't want to become the boss of the family. She scolded him for spying on her, but he explained that he only did it because he wanted to become the boss and change the family so she wouldn't have to cry anymore. Akira walks in on Fides and she admits that Kalkrom will make a better boss than her because his heart is big enough to accommodate everyone he meets. She reveals that he has been secretly taking care of their other siblings, who were disowned because they were considered unfit to rule their family. However, Fides insists that she must become the boss because a job like will only serve as punishment for an innocent soul like Kalkrom. Back at the Lontano mansion, the agent informs Lord Lontano that Kalkrom's partner is an android and confirms that the information he obtained from OL is accurate. He decides to capture her for his use before OWEL can get their hands on her. Later that evening, everyone sits for dinner at the Lontano family restaurant. Kalkrom asks Yugure to become his partner, and Fides gets up to walk away, but she stops in her tracks when Yugure refuses. Yugure explains that her perception of love was wrong and advises Kalkrom to prove his feelings of true love to the person it is meant for. Akira uses this opportunity to advise the siblings to try to work things out by having a heartfelt conversation. Lord Lontano walks in and reveals that he has always known both of them had chemistry since they were kids. He accuses Kalkrom of planning to remain childless and opting to murder him in his sleep so he can take control of the family. Kalkrom denies the allegation, but Lord Lontano points to Yugure and the black market weapons he has been buying from OL as evidence. Kalkrom insists that he is mistaken because the weapons in Yugure were just a precaution he was taking to protect the family. Lord Lontano doesn't buy his story. He roses Fides a gun and orders her to dispose of her treacherous brother. He promises to make her the next boss if she obeys. Kalkrom urges her to do it so both of them don't get taken down, but Akira stops her. Kalkrom takes the gun from her and points it at Lord Lontano, who scolds Fides for betraying her family, just like her brother. Kalkrom points out that there's no family left because he has exiled all his children. He guns down one of Lord Lontano's bodyguards, and Lord Lontano orders the others to capture Yugure at all costs. Yugure gets up and scolds them for ruining her fun, but she is so tipsy that she can barely stand. Lord Lontano orders his men to restrain her while she is too drunk to do anything, but Yugure releases all the toxins that built up in her body from drinking. She dares the first person who is brave enough to approach her. Akira spots a sniper aiming at her, and he realizes she is not aware of his presence. He rushes over to push her out of the way, but he ends up taking the bullet for her.